So this guy just came to scan the area, because from the clips I can tell that it didn't happen on the same day. He came to scan the area, pre-plan, know what doors he's supposed to pass through to get to the president, right? Because first appearance, if you look at it from that clip, it doesn't even strike someone as some kind of person that can pose any harm. From their face you can't tell, right? From their face you can't tell. And I think he has a lot to do. These things that happen has a lot to do with this stupid rhetoric. These conspiracy theories are just going on. It has a lot to do with it. Because I also heard that in his manifesto, he thinks Trump is Hitler and he wants to take down Trump. Imagine, you think Trump is Hitler. I'm like, the people that are even going against the right, are praising Hitler. They're like, oh, hail Hitler, hail Hitler. Like, a lot of them are like, hail Hitler. And in this one's manifesto, it's like Trump is the Hitler. Oh my god. Like, yeah, eliminate the Jews. You're thanking Hitler for eliminating the Jews. And now, in your manifesto, Trump, that is not really against the Jews, is now Hitler. And again, I watched this stupid joke from Jimmy Kimmel saying that Melania is glowing like an expectant window.
Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Who says that? After this gunshot, after this stuff that happened, that was what came out. I'm like, who says that? And it was before the assassination attempt. Whether it's before the assassination attempt or after the assassination attempt, how can you say that? What if actually he got assassinated after that joke? Will it still be funny? In fact, it's not even funny. It's not. I don't know why these people just put out this stupid talk. The same thing, if reverse was the case, they'll be like they can handle it. No, I don't think you can handle it if reverse was the case. No. If reverse was the case, you wouldn't be smiling to those jokes if reverse was the case. And while they said there was an assassination attempt, some of the guests were still eating. They said there's an assassination attempt, they're still eating. They're still drinking wine. Are you on it?
After the President of the United States. And as John mentioned, the White House Correspondents' Dinner is where we are presently broadcasting from.
So Donald Trump fired back like, who says that? Here's what he said. Wow, Jimmy Kimmel, who is in no way funny, as attested to by his terrible television ratings, made a statement on his show that is really shocking. He showed a fake video of the First Lady Melania and her son Baron, like they were actually sitting in his studio, listening to him speak, which they weren't and never would be, of course. He then stated, "Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful, Mrs. Trump. You have a glow like an expectant widow." A day later, a lunatic tried entering the ballroom of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, loaded up with a shotgun, handgun, and many knives. He was there for a very obvious and sinister reason. I appreciate that so many people are incensed by Kimmel's despicable call to violence and normally would not be responsive to anything that he said, but this is something far beyond the pale. Jimmy Kimmel should be immediately fired by Disney and ABC. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. I just feel that this is very insensitive and this is very crazy. Like, how would you tell someone that she has a glow of an expectant widow? Are you expecting her to be a widow? Who just says that out of the blue? That means you are thinking of her becoming a widow so soon. Did she ever come to tell you that she wanted to be a widow? Why do people just say things nowadays? If you don't like the party, there are things you can say, and later you say it's a joke. Oh, it's a joke, it's a joke. Of course, I'm joking about it. What kind of death joke is that? Would you want someone to joke about you the same way? And after that joke, then you get an assassination attempt. You would think that the person that even said that joke was the one that made the assassination attempt, even though they are not the one that made it. Maybe they are the conspirators of that assassination attempt. Of course, that's what I would think. Just saying. And Melania followed up with her own tweet. She said, "Kimmel's hateful and violent rhetoric is intended to divide our country. His monologue about our family isn't comedy. His works are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America." Of course. People like Kimmel shouldn't have the opportunity to enter our homes each evening to spread hate. A coward, Kimmel, hides behind ABC because he knows the network will keep running cover to protect him. Enough is enough. It is time for ABC to take a stand. How many times will ABC's leadership enable Kimmel's atrocious behavior at the expense of our community? Of course, it's time. I think it's time for him to lose his job. Like, I think it's time. How will you just sit there and spread nonsense in the name of it's a joke, and you expect them to also laugh at the joke? Yeah, you expect them to take it. Oh, the president can't take one joke. The president can't take joke. How about we start making death jokes about you? And we are like, you don't take it. No, after we start making death jokes about you, you see the death joke play out in like 2 days. You get an assassination attempt in like 2 days, and after you get that attempt, you'll be like, it's still a joke. It's a joke. Even though I get an assassination attempt, it's a joke. If your life is a joke to you, please use your life as a joke to you. Others don't see it as a joke to them. Be sane for once. Have sense. And you think that this man was sorry for the joke, or like remorse, so to speak? Nah. He came back to defend the joke, even double down. Here's what he said.
Obviously was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not by any stretch of the definition a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular, but I understand that the First Lady had a stressful experience over the weekend, and probably every weekend is pretty stressful in that house. And also, I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it, because
Trump also had an assassination attempt on his life as well. So that was also funny to you. These two people had an assassination attempt. One got murdered, Charlie Kirk, and you still feel it deemed to make a joke out of it. If that bullet went through your neck, I don't think that mouth will be open in making stupid jokes. This is why I don't still understand why he's still doing stupid jokes. And his minions are there like, everything is funny. Yeah. Saying someone look like an expectant widow is a joke. and his minions are behind the scenes. Like, what is he still doing in that position? What is he still doing in that position? Someone makes a joke, and a day or two, an assassination attempt happened to the person he was making a joke of. That's so crazy. How am I sure that you are not a complicit? How am I sure that you are not a complicit? Because a lot of crazy things go on in this world, you know? Everything is a joke. As tense as the situation is, it's an opportunity to laugh. Oh God. As tense as the situation is, it's an opportunity to laugh. It's an opportunity to say, the party is scoring a political point, right? And I even think he's someone that's supposed to be fired a long time ago. He always comes after Trump. Majority of his jokes are just like they're after Trump. And there's this one stupid joke he made about Charlie Kirk after he died that almost cost him his job. I think gave him 5 days suspension or thereabout. I'm not sure. You can tell me in the comments. He almost lost his job because of that stupid joke.
Yes. He's at the 4th stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
And you think that after the joke, right, he'll be remorseful and everything. Nah, he came back again and doubled down. He even defended his joke. Here's what he said.
A lot about what I need to say and do tonight. And the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human. And that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder.
As an opportunity to kind of somehow say this is how he's mourning his friend Charlie Kirk. Like, must everything be about making fun of someone's death? Like, I don't understand these people. Okay, if worse comes to worse, he's constructing. And you, what have you been doing? Have you been mourning him in your jokes? Have you been mourning him in your jokes?
Murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love.
Sarcasm at its finest. Sarcasm
Represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever. And also, selfishly, I am a person who gets a lot of threats. I get many ugly and scary threats against my life, my wife, my kids, my coworkers because of what I choose to say. And I know those threats don't come from the kind of people on the right who I know and love. So that's what I wanted to say on that subject. There was a moment over the weekend, a very beautiful moment. I don't know if you saw this on Sunday. Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow.
And you think he's leading somewhere, you think he's going somewhere. Nah, he's not going somewhere. He's going to make you so stupid at the end, even worse than how he's saying it right now. Like, I don't get why everything is just a mockery. Since this Charlie Kirk's death, everything is just a mockery, everything is joke, everything is so fun to laugh at, and it's actually not funny. There's nothing to laugh at. It's even showing how ugly and evil people are in the process of doing that. And I don't understand why they fail to see how stupid and foolish and nonsensical they look and they act in the process. Even this one that comes with sarcasm. Everything is a joke. Let's keep on hearing this good.
It touched me deeply. And I hope it touches many. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that, and not this. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
Of course, it's a country that allows to have a show like that. But making fun at the expense of someone's death, the wife is still mourning her husband, you see the need to make fun around his death. Nah, bro. You need to come to your senses. You need to. Because clearly, if it was the reverse, you would not be smiling all the way. If someone was doing the same thing, saying the same thing as you are saying, it would not be fun all the way. It's not gonna be funny. It's not gonna be funny. Said violence is not the solution. Violence is not the solution. Okay, violence is not the solution. What if my neighbor is just violent and they don't know any better than being violent? And the next thing the thing I should do is to stay and allow them take that violence on me, right? Because I choose to say violence is not the solution. You don't have any sense. You don't have any sense.
I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia, countries in the Middle East, who tell me they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power, and worse than being thrown in prison. They know how lucky we are here. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about this country. And that's something I'm embarrassed to say I took for granted until they pulled my friend Steven off the air and tried to coerce the affiliates who run our show in the cities that you live in to take my show off the air. That's not legal. That's not American. That is un-American, and it is so dangerous. Maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People who I never would have imagined.
Instead of being sorry about what you did, you're being sarcastic. You're being making stupid diplomatic comments. Just being stupid all the way. And just thinking it's so funny. I just find it just sad that since Charlie Kirk died, everything is funny to a lot of people. Everything is laughable, everything is mockery, right? There should be no guns, right? There should be no guns. The same guns have also saved people from armed robbers, from attack, from all sorts of things. Same gun has saved people. Jimmy Kimmel, if you were to have an armed robbery in your house, right? How would you protect yourself? Without violence. How would you protect yourself? With speaking.
Imagine like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it, and thanks. But one thing I did learn from Lenny Bruce and George Carlin and Howard Stern is that a government threat to silence a comedian the president doesn't like is anti-American. That's anti-American.
No one is silencing you. You're just being stupid. No one is silencing you. You're just being stupid and insensitive to someone that has died. And you're being stupid and insensitive to the loved one around that person they lost. And obviously, you don't want to see that. Because there's a motive behind what you want to do. There's a motive. You want someone to feel pain. And what a stupid way of wanting someone to feel pain around the death of their loved ones. You don't have sense.
And I am so glad we have some solidarity on that from the right and the left and from those in the middle like Joe Rogan. Maybe the silver lining from this is we found one thing we can agree on, and maybe we'll even find another. This puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. I was not happy when they pulled me off the air on Wednesday. I did not agree with that decision, and I told them that, and we had many.
So guys, it's just sad that the world is like this. It's so sad, and what we can do about it is to speak up. That's what we can do. Speak up. It's so sad. Making fun around someone's death is so sad, right? So sad. 2032 AD. See you guys in my next one.
To respond directly to the allegations in the Atlantic article that your unexplained absences created a national security risk. And beyond that, can you say definitively that you have not been intoxicated or absent during your tenure as FBI director?
I can say unequivocally that I never listen to the fake news mafia. And as when they get louder, it just means I'm doing my job. This FBI director has been on the job twice as many days as every director before me. What that means is I've taken half as many days off as those before me. What that means is I've taken a third less vacation than those before me. What that means is that this FBI with this Department of Justice has dropped the murder rate 20 points. What that means is this FBI with this Department of Justice has captured 8 of the top 10 most wanted fugitives in the world, twice as many as the Biden administration did in its entire 4 years. What that means is this FBI has seized enough fentanyl off the streets to kill 178 million Americans, a 31% increase. What that means is this FBI and this DOJ has arrested 43% more spies in 14 months than the entirety of the Biden administration. What that means is this FBI has seen a reduction in opiate overdose deaths up to 20% alone. What that means is that we have found 6,300 child victims, 6,300 families have their kids back. That is a 22% increase from the Biden administration. I'm on the job. I'm the first one in. I'm the last one out. I'm like an everyday American who loves his country, loves the sport of hockey, and champions my friends when they raise a gold medal and invite me in to celebrate. I've never been intoxicated on the job, and that is why we filed a $250 million defamation lawsuit. And any one of you that wants to participate, bring it on. I'll see you in court.